The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, America's competition shotgun, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Paul?
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays. With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
You just didn't want my wife to edit something else you did.
And Sean Alley.
Gotta keep it PG-13, man.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair.
And now, it's showtime.
Happy 2025, everyone. What's up, Mr. Large and in Charge? Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, Jason. Man, I tell you what, it's really hard to wrap your head around that we've already gone through 2024 and now starting a brand new year. I mean, it's like, where does it go?
Yeah, tell me about it. How was your holidays? Good?
Good, man. Good. Ate too much, drank a little too much. Didn't get as much time off as I wanted because obviously the holidays fell right in the middle of the daggone week for both Christmas and New Year's. I mean, it was kind of made of a mess, really. We're like working Monday and then working Thursday, Friday, both weeks, and it just kind of creates a bunch of bedlam. How about you? Anything interesting you did over the holiday?
The whole atmosphere was weird, dude. Putting up Christmas lights and shorts just didn't, something wasn't right. It wasn't bundled in Carhartts and snow on the ground, but you know, who needs snowflakes when you got seashells, right? So
yeah, well, it's wintertime up here now, but I think I woke up this morning and it was in the teens, and they're saying next week it's going to be single digits for the lows overnight. So you're definitely in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I know, man. It's cold. It only got up to 72 here today.
Oh, man. How can you even deal with that? Hold on. Listen to the background. You can hear the smallest violin playing the saddest song you've ever heard.
Yeah, right. But no, welcome back, everyone. Very excited. We have joining us new this year, Long Range LLC. So thank you to Long Range Equipment. Love having them on board. Of course, we got Atlas Traps coming back with us. Ranger, RE Ranger. Thank you very much to them. Of course, Rhino Chokes. Sean Alley, can't live without our Rhino Chokes.
Yes.
They're coming back on board with us. And then we've got another new sponsor we're going to talk about here shortly. But Taconic Distillery back with us. Score Chaser back on board. That's exciting. And of course, we are going to be doing the NSCA segment once a month. We just spoke with Michael Hampton here over the holidays. He's excited about that. He's got some new topics, some new things he wants to talk about, plus some new information that's came to light. So very excited about that. And Sean, I don't know, man. It's kind of always exciting this time of year for me as a shooter, you know, getting ready for the Florida Swings coming here pretty quick. Starting at the end of this month, we've got the Blackjack Open at Blackjack, and then immediately following, man, you got RC Cup, the Caribbean Cup, the Jack Links Cup, and then you got the Florida Challenge. I mean, it's going to be, an exciting time down here, you know?
Yep, definitely. Well, unfortunately, I can't make it this year. We've got a lot of stuff going on with Steph, and got some procedures to take care of with her and her surgery that she had a couple of years ago. So hopefully that'll all work out, but I did not plan any vacation time for this first quarter of 2025 in hopes that we'll get through all of that, and then I'll be able to kind of cut loose and go travel a bit more this year. But yeah, looking forward to it, man, and good luck down there. Enjoy the weather. I'll miss it. I mean, I'm usually used to the last 4 or 5 years going down there in February and having a week or two to kind of soak up the warm weather and then come back to this cold mess. But I'll grin and bear it, man, and just keep taking it day by day.
Well, see, Sean, you spoiled us. And I say us, I mean the wife and I, because we'd always make that trip down with you and Steph, and we'd get a VRBO and it always had a pool and all that stuff, right? And we loved it so much, we just bought a house with a pool. So
I know, right? You just covered all the bases from get-go.
Right. So we don't have to catch a flight anymore. But we'll miss having you down here, man. That's for sure. But that being said, you better get some practice in, Sean, because there's going to be a lot of big shoots in Ohio this year. You got the FITAS Grand Prix going to be at Eagles Nest, and then the following week you've got the Northeast Regional at Cardinal Center. I know Airport Ridge is having a really big shoot the week after that. So there's like 3 heavy weeks of shooting, and then of course you got the Ohio State shoot at the end of July. So lots of shoots going. Hey, wait a minute, Sean. Speaking of big shoots, you got a big list of tourney talk to get to.
I do. We might as well start the year off and get these going.
Let's do that.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Score Chaser.
All right, guys, the Federal HOA Cup at Game Unlimited is now open. That's going to be held from June 13th through the 15th. Also, the Kentucky State Championship at Jefferson Gun Club is up, and that will be from August 21st through the 24th. Then you have Colorado State at Silver Creek Sporting Club. That'll be held September 24th through the 28th. It is now open for registration. And last but not least, the Indiana State Shoot is going to be at Sugar Creek Sporting Clays and Hunting Preserve. That is going on August 14th through the 17th. All of these shoots are up and open to register. Get in there and get your reservations made because you know how quickly these things fill up.
Heck yeah. And Sean, we have a very exciting dead pair raffle that we're going to do this year, and we're very excited about that. Well, I think we'll just kind of trickle that in as the show goes along. We'll just keep everybody on the edge of their seat.
Sure.
We've got to get going because Sean Mainland is on the phone. He's waiting on us. So let's get Mr. Mainland on and welcome Sean Mainland to the show.
Cool.
The Dead Pair.
All right, everyone. Very excited about this. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Sean Mainland. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thank you. You guys too?
Yeah, we're doing the best we can. I'm interrupting Allie because I'm chomping at the bit. I cannot wait to announce this. I tell you what, Mr. Mainland, we are going to give you the floor. You want to go ahead and announce the new big news?
I'd be delighted. The exciting news is that Kolar Arms is going to be the title sponsor of the Dead Pair podcast, and can't wait. I mean, you guys have done great work, and glad to be a part of it.
Well, we're humbled and honored that you would even consider that, Sean. And honestly, we are big lovers and supporters of Kolar. I mean, we just love your company, love everything you guys do. So thank you again for joining forces, and we look forward to a very successful 2025 with you.
Yeah, I was super humbled and honored when you asked us to be on the ambassador team, and then this came about, and I was just floored. Super excited. It's a big opportunity, but Sean, you made the comment that you've been wanting to support the show for some time, and I'll quote you on this. You said it just makes more sense now with the vision of the company. What did you mean by that vision? What's going on? Tell us what's going on and why you think now is a good time to support the show.
For a long time, we really focused on the competition shooters, going to regionals, going to satellite grands, and really our name is spreading, getting to the local shooters, the ones that don't travel as much, but still put the rounds through the gun. And I feel like you guys reach everybody in the country and other countries. And I just thought the timing was perfect as we're growing, hook onto you guys and go along for the ride.
Yeah, I've always been a big advocate of Kolar ever since I bought my first one.
Really?
Yeah, right.
Stop it.
Well, hey, listen, Allie, I finally convinced you, and I think now you've seen the light, right? So
absolutely.
But
the free ads have been great lately, but it's time to step up.
Yeah, I hope we can live up to all the free stuff we've done. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But like I said earlier, you added both of us to the ambassador team and now the podcast. What does this mean to everyone at Kolar? I mean, look, we deal with you directly. Of course, we get to razz Kevin when we see him at shoots and stuff. But what does this mean to everybody else at Kolar? I mean, are they excited about it or what? I mean, tell us the thoughts everybody has.
They are. All our employees are very they're dedicated to what we make. There's a lot of pride in what they do. We're not just poking holes in metal and making it shiny. We're really making a product and have a following. And I'm sure they're going to listen to this and quite a few more and learn more about what the other side sees. We're in our walls making guns, but we need feedback from people outside of that. And I'm sure they're very proud. I know a few are and more to come.
Awesome.
Well, if I can just jump in for a second, I mean, as the most recent Kolar convert, I admit I finally got some time with you guys, and I see how Kolar. It's not just the gun. I mean, obviously, the fit and finish, the way you guys do your guns, it's impressive. Anybody can look at that and see that they are just remarkably engineered, and they are built with a care and a trust and a love that you have to really stand behind your product to make a gun that's as good as the Kolar. But my point of it is that when you see people interact with you guys, That to me is what's most impressive. I mean, when you talk to other Kolar shooters, I've never heard a bad word. I mean, it's always been like, oh, they helped me out with this, or they helped me out with that, or they took care of this, or I had a problem with that, and they immediately took care of that. And it just, that goes on and on and on. And I'm really not trying to just shine you on here, Sean, but I'm just saying, I've seen it. You helped me out at the Nationals when I couldn't bring my gun, and you loaned me a gun to like go out and shoot with it. It's just the people that you have working for you, you especially, you can tell you guys care about what you're doing. And I think that is such a special thing in this industry, and it's much needed and well appreciated by everybody.
Yes. I appreciate, agree 100%. You know, stuff always going to happen to any gun, and it's how you stand behind it. And these guys care about the shooters and the customers, and that's the fun part of the job too, is getting out there and meeting people and creating those relationships. It is the best part of the job, and the gunsmiths will say the same.
Absolutely. Well, I saw people coming in and out at the Nationals, and they wanted to see this, wanted to see that, wanted to talk to this person, wanted to talk to that person, and just, I mean, you guys were there to help, and that was what was so awesome. I was just kind of sitting back like a fly on the wall, just watching all this stuff happen while I was hanging out. I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. They're really taking care of people. So good on you guys.
Yes. Well,
good on you guys.
Thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, let's just dive right into a couple things that I've noticed, because as you know, my former gun was a DT11. And I've actually wanted to ask you this question for a while. The one thing I was disappointed about on my DT11 was the wood. Okay. And as dumb as that sounds, when you're spending that kind of a money on a firearm, right? And I'm not really knocking the DT11 wood, but boy, it just seems like it could be a little nicer. And I understand that Bretta's probably doing their thing from a budget standpoint, but Malcolm Parker said it best. You guys put the best furniture on a shotgun of anybody. So I want to ask you the question, why do you do it, and how did that come about? Because you guys seem to just blow everybody away. From your basic stock gun all the way up to the very fancy models, your wood is absolutely immaculate.
Yes, and that's important. That's our reputation, and it's a great reputation to have. You know, we handpick all the blanks working with our dealers, whether it's in person or pictures before they ship them. But we take a lot of care and spend a lot of time going through these. Additionally, our finish, it's very hard. We put about 18 layers on, so you'll spray a few layers, let it dry, sand it, buff it, repeat. Some of these other manufacturers will put filler in just to kind of speed that process up, but we don't put any filler in, and just keep doing it the right way, and it turns out much clearer, more beautiful. You get more contrast, more color, so it's worth the extra TLC.
Yeah, well, that shows.
That makes it twice as hard for me, because I've always wanted a custom stock. There's the FX stock that I have is the best fitting factory stock I've ever had. But like they say, there's nothing like a custom fit glove, right? And I'd love to have that custom stock, but man, it's going to cost me a small fortune to get the wood that's as good as what I have from my factory stock, So that's kind of a drawback on that, because the wood's so beautiful. You don't want to get rid of it. It's like, no, there's no, I love mine, but, Sean, it's been a hot minute since we had you on here. Has there been anything new at Kolar, anything new coming out that you want to tease us with?
Tease is a good word. Cause we're not really ready to fully release it, but, a couple projects are coming. One is an increased offering in our engraved models. Our standards are still our bread and butter. We need to do those first, but to expand what we offer, I believe, is important. And number two, and I'm sure we'll talk more about this in the future, but it's a sub-gauge frame, just about done being designed. We're going to start making some prototypes soon, and I think it's it'll be a second gun for some, and maybe a hunting and upland gun for others. But it's exciting. It's the first new gun we've come out with since the TS in 2004. So it's a big project, and really looking forward to it.
So let me understand that. So if somebody gets a 28 gauge, it's going to be a baby frame 28 gauge.
Yes. We're going to have one frame that holds a 20, 28, and 410, but I think 28 is going to be the most popular in that. On that frame.
I mean, look, I've got the sub-gauge barrels, but sign me up. Oh man, my wife is going to kill me.
You better back that up, man. Better back that up.
There went my allowance.
It's based off our round action receiver, so it's going to have that kind of slim, sleek look. Let's not reinvent the entire wheel.
That's
Got it.
nice. It's going to be based off of the round body.
Yes.
That is so cool.
Now, I would assume that the weight's going to be a little bit less than that. I mean, more for, it could be used as a field gun is what you're saying? Possibly?
Yeah. It's coming in at about 7.5 pounds. We want a little bit lighter, but then it wouldn't be a Kolar. It's still made out of bar stock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still a thicker monoblock, and as long as that balance is between the hands, that's going to make a difference. If it's back heavy or front heavy, then you'll feel it a lot more.
Yeah.
But if somebody wanted to be a little fancy and go out in the woods and smack a few pheasant or dove or whatever with it, wouldn't be too unwieldy, right?
True. That's the plan.
Well, speaking of guns, I know one of the last times we talked, Sean, I think you said you guys produce about 350 guns a year. Are you guys looking at increasing that number or doing anything to kind of push that beyond what you're doing now?
So our goal is still at 350 over-unders. On top of that, we'd like to do some TSs, our trap singles, and then the sub-gauge frame. Mm-hmm. So we definitely don't want to flood the market. I do feel like we have kind of a niche product. We want to keep it that way. It'll keep our service, top notch as well, rather than mass producing these things. I know it's an exaggeration, but
sure.
Yeah. So the goal is 400 and above, but not with what we're doing now. We want to add to the line, and new customers are going to buy the TS instead of the over under because of the price point. And a lot of people are going to buy that sub gauge frame because it's cooler, because they want something different. So that's how we're going to grow.
Well, we touched on the round body here a few times, and I think it was 4 or 5 years ago that you came out with that. Is that correct, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay. And so for those that don't know Kolars, explain to everybody what a round body is and who it might be for.
Sure. Really, we just took our classic receiver, which has the side panels on both sides, and we ground that flat and made a round contour on the bottom two edges. It did not remove a lot of weight. It was about 1.5 ounces. So it was just purely cosmetic, and it's just kind of a sleeker looking gun. It doesn't really match like our trap high rib, right? To have that high rib and then kind of a slimmer receiver, but it's big in sporting clays where you have kind of a sleeker looking gun, and we sold a few of the low profile trap guns that way. Yeah, performance wise, it's going to be the same. That 1.5 ounces isn't a lot, but just looks a little different.
How would you say that model, in comparison as far as like sales go, how would you say that model compares to the standard receiver?
There's two ways to look at that. Since we focus on the sporting clay market for that receiver, I'm just going to say about 40% are round bodies, 60% are classics.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. So let's put something to bed here.
Oh boy.
A lot of keyboard warriors out there want to argue that Kolar's not made in the USA and it's just assembled here. You want to set everybody straight on that?
Man, we have 29 employees on a 30,000 square foot shop. We're making everything right here. We buy the springs and the screws. We buy barrel blanks and then braze everything on it, then machine it. I love when people take tours of the shop because they really have an appreciation. We are made right in Racine, Wisconsin.
That's awesome. It's just funny how much stuff you see floating around out on social media. And all these experts know all the answers.
Well, and I tell you what starts it is the guy that's looking for a gun.
Yeah.
That's where it all starts, because somebody that wants him to buy something else is going to say something bad about the one he just looked at or wants to go look at. So that's how all that crap starts. Okay. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I've been wanting to say this since I got you on here. Let's tell everybody about the other big news. Tell everybody about the Dead Pear Kolar.
Oh, yes, a Dead Pear Kolar. That's very exciting. Kind of a cool design that we're going to do. And in collaboration with the Dead Pear and Kolar Arms, we're going to raffle one off.
Okay. I know you can't tell everybody what it looks like, but we're talking... I mean, you showed me the receiver you're starting with. I mean, this thing's got gold inlay on it. Yes. It's all engraved, and it's going to have the Dead Pear underneath of it. Now, it won't say podcast, so if anybody's not tied into the podcast, they can still buy this gun and be proud to shoot it for sporting clays, right? It'll just say Dead Pear, and it'll have the skulls on it.
Yeah.
And we should have, I'm going to guess, guys. I'm just guessing here, Sean and Sean. Probably here in the next couple weeks, we'll have tickets available for purchase. They're going to be, I think we said they were $100 a piece. And the way we're going to do that is because some states are funny on laws. It's going to be a raffle for a gift certificate for this gun. So in other words, it's not a raffle for the gun. It's a raffle for a gift certificate to buy the gun. So,
right.
Yeah, just kind of finding loopholes, I guess you could say. But, Sean, you're going to have the gun available for people to look at. It shoots and stuff. I know you offered it to us, but I'm no. I barely trust myself with my own gun. So, so it's going to be available to look at Kolar. Yeah. What shoots are you going to be at if people want to come see it?
We're going to hit quite a few regionals, of course, SATP nationals. A couple trap shoots at Satellite Grands. We go to the Cardinal Center a few times. Those are regionals there as well. US Open and even a couple shoots down in Florida. I don't know if we'll have it done in time. Actually, I can tell you we won't just because it is custom. But yeah, we're going to show this thing off. And, I want to make a comment about that certificate. So we're going to build it as probably a sporter, but that being a certificate, if you want an adjustable rib instead of a ramp taper, we are still a custom gun shop. So we'll fit it to what you want. Of course, it won't take very long. The engraving's already done. So yeah, buy some tickets to support your favorite podcasters, and we'll still make that custom gun to you.
Well, awesome. And the neat thing is, I want to make clear to everybody, this is not just your base model Kolar. This is a really, really nice Kolar. I mean, this is I'm not even going to say the MSRP on it because it's not a base model.
Yeah. No. What is the model of engraving that you started with?
So I'm starting with what we call the Upland Grand. And then instead of the game scene on the bottom, we're going to have that dead pair. I don't want to call it a logo because we're changing a little bit, but dead pair, showing.
Yep. Yeah. And it's going to start as a Max Light Sporting, right? Is what it'll start as. And then they can put whatever barrel configuration they want on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they want all the sub gauge barrels, they can add that, but it'll be a 12 gauge and whatever configuration they want.
Right. Awesome. Man, this is so cool.
Yeah, that was so cool of you to do that, man. That's going to make somebody extremely happy.
Come on. Yeah. I mean, it's nicer than Sean and I's gun put together. And
can I buy a ticket? I just want to. Am I allowed to buy a ticket or?
Well, I don't think that would go over well if you and I bought a ticket, Sean. So
I'd like to buy one just to have it.
Yeah. So we're gonna have we'll have a link on the website where you can go and click on it, and that'll take you to where you can purchase a raffle ticket. And then Sean, you're gonna have where the gun's displayed. You'll have a QR code there they can scan with their phone and be able to purchase a ticket right then and there.
Yes.
So, and then we are going to do through the same raffle company that we're using, they will do a random draw for us at the Dead Pair Blast. And Sean Mainland is going to be there himself. He promised me, with you'll have the gun there, right? I mean, you can do that. Will you be able to do an FFL transfer from there or?
I'd probably have whatever gun club do it. Just log it.
Yeah.
They're set up to do it. So.
I gotcha. So exciting stuff. Really excited about this, and I can't wait for everybody to see it because this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. So probably we will have something to look at picture wise here soon, though, right, Sean? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Well, I was talking to the other Sean.
Sorry.
You're not.
I'm working on that too, so I'm involved with that too. We'll get some marketing stuff together, and we'll get some stuff out on social media, and I'll work with Sean to make sure we get some nice, pretty pictures of everything, and glitz it up, jazz it up a little bit, make it look pretty for everybody. So
yes. We want to know. You guys want to know what you're buying, so
yeah. Oh man.
Well, speaking of cool guns, so while we were down at the Dead Pair Blast in December, Jason and I finally got to take a close-up look of Frank and Chicky's guns that you did for the NYPD, for the Team 911, I'm sorry. And that was done with your laser engraver, which was pretty impressive. So my question to you is that laser engraver going to allow you guys to take on like more specialty, small batch type projects for people, or do certain things for them that maybe you weren't allowed or you weren't capable of doing beforehand?
Yeah. So we purchased a new laser. It's en route, and our laser right now is very capable. That 911 gun, both of them turned out absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah.
That was a fun project, but it was a headache. So this new one has a much better software. So I'm really hoping that we can get creative. And a lot of these people, these are like heirlooms, and they want their family crest or really anything. To have the ability to do that in a timely manner, we want to be able to offer that. And the laser can do it now, but now the software is going to make it so much easier. And yeah.
Well, speaking of pretty guns, I think probably the coolest gun I've ever seen in my life, and I'll let you explain it, Sean Mainland, is the bike gun. You had it at Nationals. This was a gun you custom made for your grandpa or for your dad?
It was for my dad.
It's for your dad,
to
dedicated to your grandpa. I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly.
Yes.
Sorry about that. But yeah, tell everybody about it. This thing is just absolutely, it's a piece of art. I mean, it's so cool.
So it's a side plate gun. We just needed the room to tell the story. We do about one side plate a year, so we do keep these things pretty special. Last year was a big year. My dad and grandfather both got put in the ATA Hall of Fame. My grandpa passed before, so he wasn't there for it. But I surprised my dad with this gun, and it was a tribute to grandpa. So it had, a cross, very religious, and his dates on the top lever. On the side was a black leaf scroll, which was both my dad and my grandpa's favorite. It's just classy, not too blingy, but really deep and powerful. The Marine symbol on one side. On the other side was the old school Griffin. So we've updated a little bit, but I want to put Grandpa's Griffin on there.
Yeah.
And then the bottom, I think, is the coolest. So in the center is Grandpa racing his bike. So he was a Olympic cyclist. He rode his bike from California to New York in 14 days, had the world record. On the top were the Olympic rings, because he made all the bikes for the 72 Olympics. Of course, I had a founder of Kolar Arms, and on the trigger guard, it did have the San Francisco to New York, and yeah, it was
that gun is
special. Yeah, so I gave it to my dad right before the Grand. As much as I wanted to give it to him at the Grand when they were being inducted in the Hall of Fame, I think that would have been too much. So did a little bit before, and he was able to show it off, and he has a lot of pride in that gun, and it was awesome experience to give it to him.
The amount of detail in the engraving and that gun is just, it's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. I mean, like I said, it's a piece of artwork. I mean, it really is.
Yes. What's cool too is our in-house guy engraved that. He's
really?
been with us since before we were making the Kolar. So when we were making the Remington 90T, he was engraving those. So he worked right next to Grandpa. He rode bikes too and rode with Grandpa. So it even meant a lot to our engraver, which that's got to be pretty rare.
Oh yeah. I mean, that is really cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
Well, Sean, let me ask you. Let's bounce over to you for a second. I mean, we've talked about the customers, we've talked about some of the guys you've done work for, and obviously just now having that tribute gun for your dad and your grandfather. How about you? I mean, what's going on with you this year? You got any big plans or goals or anything else on your end personally or outside of the box?
Personally, we have baby number 2 coming end of January. So right now we have a boy, Lucas, 16 months old, and he's getting a little sister. So I got to lead with that because that's big.
That's really big. Yeah,
yes. Yeah, so it's really exciting.
Let's talk. The biggest news here is that all three of us have wives that actually put up with us. So we're allowed to go. We're allowed to go play this sporting clays game, right? So,
yes.
But no, family is so huge, and it's the reason why I bring that up is because your entire business is built off of family. And I know you've had people approach about buying Kolar and stuff, and it's like, no way, man, get out of here. It doesn't matter how much money you have. This is a family business. And I think that's what's so cool. And you can see it, even just me talking to Kevin, he's got that sense of family, even though he's not family, but he's got that sense of family with working there. So, and there's a lot of pride in that, and there's a lot of pride that comes from the people that work at Kolar. So super cool. For the love of God, please don't get your kids into shooting. But
I joke because you guys have seen how messed up my custom stock is, and my wife has the same thing with that bunch of offsets. So we joke and say our kids won't stand a chance.
Well, I was joking. I do hope you get your kids into shooting, obviously.
Yes.
But
yes.
no, that's so cool. I'm very happy for you. With baby number 2 on the way, are we really going to see you on the road this year? I mean, that's a lot.
That's what I was going to wonder about.
I won't be in Florida.
Oh, no. Well, you will in December. You will for the Dead Pair Blast anyway, right? So,
yes.
Okay.
At least you get to look forward to that. Maybe just not as much travel this year as in years prior. So
Yeah. What's nice is I have a good team. So if I'm not there, or if I come for a couple days instead of the whole stretch, great team that's going to take good care of everybody.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking about all the people listening to this, and they're just shaking their heads right now. It's like, this guy's really going to put up with these 2 animals for a year. Not only that, but he's making them a gun. So yeah, I mean, they probably think we got you drunk or something.
You kind of almost feel sorry for him, don't you, Jason?
He has no idea. He thinks that kid's a lot of work. He has no idea.
I'm thrilled, and I want to tell you guys one of the biggest reasons we're on board is for what you guys do to the sport. That's huge. You guys are, you inspire new shooters. You're educational. I feel like you guys have something for everybody. You have stuff for the pros, you have stuff for the new guys, and everything in between. And really appreciate you guys helping grow the sport. And whether it's through awareness or education or entertainment, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, and I don't want anybody to misconceive this, because yes, we absolutely love our Kolars. I understand they're an expensive investment, but it is an investment. And if you're just getting started and hey, you want to go shoot an automatic or something because that's what your budget dictates, that's fine. But when you can afford your forever gun, you just can't go wrong with a Kolar. I mean, you just can't. And that's the biggest thing. I look at Malcolm Parker. How many years, Sean, remind me, has he had his gun now? It's been over 20. Been over 20.
Like 26 years, 27 years.
Yeah. And he's still using the same gun. So, I mean, and Melanie's not far behind him on that. So it's just, but that's a testament. And that man shoots a lot. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a safe queen. Okay. This gun is getting used. And
I would love to know the round count that's gone through that one.
Oh my gosh. Sean Alley, can you imagine getting like 10 cents for every shell that's been through that gun?
Well, I was going to say, Sean, do you have any miracle stories? I mean, do you know if anybody's really pushed past 1 million rounds that you know of for sure, or that you've ever serviced a gun that's really just been shot to heck and back?
I'll tell you 2. The first one's in my office. It's one of the prototypes that has a little bit over 1 million through it. There's one from a guy in Texas that I'm not going to call him out, but he has over 2.5 million rounds through.
Whoa!
And you said, is there a gun with all those rounds that you've serviced? This guy doesn't service his gun.
You're kidding me.
I mean, he does, but it's always 200,000 rounds or something, which I do not recommend. But, this guy shoots and shoots and shoots.
Wow. Yeah. Over 2 million. I can't even, the math in that, just 2 million rounds, the math in that, it doesn't even equate to me.
Don't think about it.
If you shot 10,000 rounds a month, you're only putting up 120,000 a year. So you're talking like 120,000 rounds a year. I mean, think about that. How could you even do that? That's goodness. Incredible. My goodness. That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. If you saw his setup and his big piles of empty hulls, you'd understand. But
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, the gun's gonna be the cheapest part of that man's hobby. the ammo's gonna break him, that glaze.
Well, that's I think that's one of the things I wanted to emphasize to somebody that's thinking about a lifetime gun is, yeah, you've got the initial expense, but if you divide that, like if you look at the investment that Malcolm made 26 years ago, and you divide that across 26 years, that's a minute amount of money. I mean, it really is. I mean, what you think about what a pallet load of ammo costs right now, or even just a flat of shells. I mean, those poor folks over in California are paying $160 a flat for premium ammo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they just got taxed again. So on ammo. But if you think about that, you can exceed the cost of that gun through ammo and target prices and everything else real quick. So I think if you're going to make an investment on a high-end gun, it ought to be a lifetime gun like a Kolar. I mean, so that's just where I've always stood on it. But
yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, if somebody is interested in buying, you've got a whole host of dealers, Sean. You don't need to name exact locations, but can you name your dealers?
Yeah, we have Elite Shotguns, who's our biggest dealer by far. They have multiple locations, so Pennsylvania, Vero Beach, Florida, Kentucky, San Antonio, and they'll have mobile trailers. Pacific Sporting Arms has a location in Michigan and California. Excel Shooting out in Montana. Game Masters, based out of Quincy, Illinois, but they have a mobile trailer and spend time out west as well. There's a few more. They're all listed on our website, and we've added a few, and just trying to spread this to more people, more awareness and support too. So we're slowly growing and spreading.
Yeah, and that's just if anybody's curious, it's kolararms.com. The link is right down in the show description. Of course, it's on our website. You can click on the banner and very easily get to them. And if nothing else, y'all need to go harass Sean for sponsoring the Dead Pair podcast. Next time you're at a shoot and the Kolar guys are there. But you know what? I mean, look, you walk in there, Sean's there. Your sister is at most of them, right? Sean, am I saying that correct? She's pretty much at most of the shoots, right?
She's starting to. Definitely nationals in the skeet world, but we're tricking her into going to a few more. She went to the World English last year, and she's a big help. It's cool. She catches on quick and has a passion as well. So I'm trying to hook her in fully. That's yet to come.
And then plus you always have at least one or two gunsmiths with you, depending on where you're at. I know San Antonio is a little easier because you got a big work area, but it's great. And Kevin's got a little one running around too, which I'm pretty sure he stole from the mailman. But that kid's I told him, I said, the kid's too cute to be yours, Kevin. So, yeah, Kevin's a good. I love harassing Kevin. He's probably one of the coolest people you ever want to meet and talk to, and he's at a lot of these shoots too. So if you need some service work done, go see him. So, and that's. Let me just tell you something. That is probably the fastest pit stop I've ever made in my life. If I need something done and I walk into Kolar, I'm walking out the door and they're going, "Hey, wait, you want to take your gun with you?" I'm like, "I just gave it to you." So, but yeah, it's like a NASCAR pit crew, but they do a good job, and it's always been perfect every time. So
yeah,
Sean, I can't thank you enough, man. From the bottom of my heart, man. This just means so much to both Sean and I, and appreciate you guys coming on board.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Happy to do it and looking forward to it.
Well, we're looking for big things and hopefully a lot of fun for all of us in 2025, and we'll make some lasting fun memories together.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're gonna make somebody happy with that gun. So,
you sure I can't buy a ticket? No,
you're not. And listen. We'll know if your wife's name's on there too. You can't.
Dang it, that was my next question. All right, never mind. All right, you're on to me.
Yeah, I think we'd lose a lot of listeners if you won that gun. So
yeah, you're probably right.
Especially when they see that thing. So be looking for that, everyone. We'll have that raffle and those pictures up here quickly. Bear with us. We've got a few little details to iron out, but we'll get them up here pretty quick. So, But Mr. Mainland, thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. And you're welcome to come on here anytime. So I know you're teasing us with a few things. So when those finally drop, please share it here with our listeners first.
You got it.
Cool. Yeah, Looking forward to it. The Dead Pair. Well, Jason, I don't know about you, man, but that is a huge honor to be involved with Kolar. I mean, obviously, I love mine. You've been a big advocate of their firearms for a long time, and I joined in a little bit later. But I'm telling you what an honor and a privilege to work with such a fine company.
I was floored when they made us part of the ambassador team. I was super excited, and that came about last year, earlier in the year, and to be a part of their team. And like I said, first of all, it's such an honor, right? And second of all, it's very exciting.
Yep.
But then to have this opportunity come up to be part of the podcast is just, I'm overwhelmed. I mean, I really don't know what to say more than what I've already said about it. So, and that raffle, I'm telling you what, I cannot wait for everybody to see this gun. This thing is going to be outstanding.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're going to have a little bit more information here next week on the gun. Hopefully we'll have some pictures for you guys soon. And then the raffle should be up. I'm hoping to have it up probably no later than the end of the month at the very latest. So we'll get that raffle going. Of course, there'll be links to it on our website. We'll have links everywhere. So you'll be able to find it. So
yep, no doubt. We'll get some pictures, get some info up there on it. It's going to be beautiful. And like I said, somebody is going to be extremely happy if they wind up winning it. So get those tickets.
Sure. So thank you very much to not only Sean Mainland, but everybody at Kolar Arms. Thank you guys. We cannot thank you enough, and we're going to do everything we can to make you all proud and show our worth. So,
yeah, no doubt, man. And thank you to all the new sponsors. Well, actually, I guess Long Range and Kolar both. But, thank you to all of our continuing sponsors that have supported us over the years. RE Ranger, Rhino Chokes, Taconic Distillery,
Atlas Traps,
Score Chaser. And am I forgetting one? I'm just kind of rattling through the list here real quick. But, without them, guys, we can't keep bringing you this show. I mean, it's a financial obligation week to week for a lot of the stuff we do, the subscriptions, the software, and all that stuff. And not to mention the travel. As you all know, traveling is expensive, going to these shoots and doing shoot coverage and stuff like that. It's not free, and we have to pay for it one way or the other. So these guys really help us in the way that we can travel and get out there and see you guys, meet you guys, and get face-to-face with all the shooters out there in Shooterland, as Chad would say. And without them, we just couldn't do it. So again, big thank you. Try to support them as much as possible. Visit their websites. Consider them when you go to these shoots and you see them as a vendor there. Go up and talk to them, see what they have to offer, and maybe you'll find something that you might need.
Yes, for sure. And hey, real quick, thank you very much to Toby Tomplay. I know he worked hard to change around these intros and outros. Talking to him, he said he wasn't really satisfied with everything. He's probably going to tweak it even more as time goes along. But we want to get something that's a staple that when you hear it, you recognize it's part of the Dead Pair, right?
Yeah.
So
well, he's a creative and he's a perfectionist, so it'll come along.
Yes, for sure. So thank you to him. Thank you to my wife for agreeing to put up with us for another year. Hopefully the marriage stays that way too. So
I was gonna say, how much more torture can that poor woman endure?
Oh man. I can't thank her enough for more than just the podcast. So
yeah, no doubt.
Sean, I was thinking last year we did the Dead Pair Challenge, take someone new shooting once a month.
Mm-hmm.
How can we tweak that? How can we outdo ourselves, right? Like if you do the same thing year after year, it's just a habit. It's not you're not growing, right? So we need to do something bigger and better. I don't know what that is. How about you, Sean? You got any ideas rolling around that big head of yours? I
mean, as per our mission statement, we are all about getting new shooters into the sport, growing the sport, making it more aware out there for people to join it. And I think we've done a good job on that over the years. I still think we need to keep pushing for the current shooters that are out there, whether or not you shoot registered targets, get somebody out there with a gun in their hand just to introduce them to the sport. Find the time to do it. I mean, you're really helping us out and helping the sport out by taking the time and the resources to go do that. But maybe we can push. I mean, another thing we'd like to see more of, guys, is your pictures. Like on our Dead Pair Facebook page, take pictures of your outings, take pictures of your events, or, you took the kids out or the wife out or whatever, put those up there and share with the rest of the world, because obviously it's just going to create more awareness and more love of the sport and showing what people are doing. I want to see smiles on everybody's faces, and, hopefully everybody's out there breaking targets. So why don't we just keep trying to push towards that? And if we can come up with a better twist to that, or an alternative, maybe we can do that, but it's still early in the year. So we've got time. Yeah.
And one more thing too. So the questions for the coaches segment, I want to continue that, but here's the thing. I don't want to isolate those questions to only the pros that we've had on in the past. So here's the deal. In talking to, Sean and I are going to these big tournaments all the time, and we always talk to these guys and gals. So instead of isolating it to a certain group of shooters that you can ask questions to, it's anybody, okay? I don't care who you have a question for. I don't care if it's, Tracy Wright. I don't care if it's Brandon Powell. I don't care who it is. Get us those questions, and we'll be more than happy to call them up and get your questions answered right here on the show.
Absolutely.
So, we'll do the work for you, right? Instead of trying to find the person and hope that they respond to your email and all that, we'll just harass the crap out of them because we've got their personal cell numbers. So we'll just keep harassing them until they answer us, and we'll get them on the show and answer those questions. And plus, it'd be nice to have a little segment with each one of these shooters, as time goes on throughout the year. So
yeah,
if you got a question for a coach, something that you can't get answered, man, don't hesitate. Write to us. Real easy to get a hold of us. thedeadpair.com. You can hit the contact button. Of course, both social media on Facebook and Instagram. Easy to get a hold of there. Don't hesitate. Reach out to us.
Yeah. And to piggyback onto that, one more thing, guys. We get an awful lot of emails and suggestions, which we absolutely, truly appreciate for show ideas or guests or stuff like that. Don't forget, if you are a newer listener, one of the things that we've kind of been seeing more and more of is, hey, what if you did a show about this? Or what if you had this person on? Or what if you talked about that? And it's like, hey, we already did that. So make sure that if you haven't listened to everything, go back and look through some of the back episodes. There's some real gems there with a lot of good tips and tidbits and coaching tips and everything else that if you haven't heard them all, I'm sure you can mine some nuggets of wisdom, especially with some of the shooters or the pros or the coaches that we've had on. So if you haven't, if you've only just recently started listening, don't forget, go to the website and dig back through it. We've got, this is our 5th year, Jason. So we've got, we're approaching episode 200 at this point. So there's a lot of content in there. So if you haven't listened to them all, kind of just take a moment and browse. If you're bored, need something to listen to, we've probably got something on there that might interest you if you haven't heard everything.
And speaking of episode 200, time is running out. So if you have a cool idea or suggestion for that show, get it into us. We've had a lot of suggestions come through. But we're still open to more suggestions. I mean, maybe somebody's got that magic idea out there. We'd love to hear it. Love to implement it. So get a hold of us. But Sean Alley, this is exciting, man. The start of the year, kind of reminds me of the old Supercross days. That's when the new bikes and the new gear came out, and hell, who knows? Somebody might have got a new shotgun for Christmas or a new vest or a new something, and they're excited to go shooting and implement all the stuff that all the products that they've had and whatever knowledge maybe they have learned on their time off. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to the year. I think this is going to be a good year. Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it as well. And our mission statement hasn't changed, guys. Take somebody new shooting, get them out there. Just like we said, that ain't going to change. We're going to harp on that every episode. So keep listening to us, and hopefully we can keep growing this sport and making it bigger and better. Just remember, the episode we did last year with the NSSF, 24 million people broke a clay target last year, but there's only 30-some thousand active members in the NSCA. So the math is not hinging there. Something's not stirring the Kool-Aid, Mr. Alley. Yeah, we got to figure that out, don't we? We need more of those 24 million to come on and, get signed up in the NSCA. Try a tournament, If it's not for you, that's fine. Still enjoy the sport, but those people that are just recreational shooters, man, try to see if they like a tournament one time, Yeah, if you need a hobby, it's a great one to belong to. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you can find a better community of people. So yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Well, Sean Alley, we've ran long. We've flapped our gums long enough, so we're going to get out of here. But until next week, my friend. Happy New Year, everybody. Glad to be back in 2025. Can't wait to see you back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair. The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, the mark of performance, and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Atlas Traps, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Rhino Chokes, Long Range LLC, Taconic Distillery, Score Chaser, and Clay Range Design Works.